Hey everyone, it's QT here, and welcome back to the Call of Duty Zombies Retrospective series, the series in which we look back at all of the Call of Duty Zombies maps from the past, and today, don't forget to water your plants as we're venturing into the Island of Despair, also known as Zetsubou No Shima.
Make your peace, Hellspawn. I am coming for you.
So first off, let's talk about the development history. Zetsubou No Shima, which of course is Japanese for Island of Despair, is a Black Ops 3 Zombies map released in April 19th of 2016, first as a PlayStation exclusive as a part of the Eclipse map pack. Zetsubou No Shima takes place on an abandoned island in the Pacific Ocean, where the ruins of Division 9's research roams the island. Mutated plants as thrashers and animals serve as the enemies of the map. And did you know, these horror-filled experiments are actually based on real-life events. Division 9, who in the COD mythos are essentially the Japanese version of Group 935, are based on the real-life Unit 731, who experimented on animals and humans, basing their research on chemical and biological warfare. Some subjects were even deprived of food, starved, basically killed underwater, injected with plants and heat and temperature, and basically experimented on to death. Now, Zetsubou was designed and based off both Verrückt and Shinonuma from COD World at War. With an added focus on horror, Jason Blundell and the rest of his team wanted both the environmental design and audio to be a really spooky and scary map. Really, going back to Verrückt, where you can hear unsettling sounds outside of the map, and even interacting with a door to hear someone screaming, things like that. We hadn't really seen that in Zombies for a while, and it was nice to see it brought back with Zetsubou, as it's just a really creepy map overall. In Zetsubou, we pick up in the ocean after the Der Eisendrache ending. Primus returns, setting out to kill the original Ultimus Takeo to acquire his soul for the summoning key, which, much like the original Richtofen and Dempsey seen in the Giant and Der Eisen's Easter eggs, we actually acquire his soul for the summoning key. However, it's never straightforward. Here on the island, the crew have to fight off mutated plant life, spiders, and the remnants of Division 9's research. Division 9 being a Japanese-specific scientific research group hell-bent on creating weapons of mass destruction during World War II. In World War II, Division 9 are also seen using their experiments working with Group 935 to genetically engineer dragons, which we can see have hatched and basically gone from the facility, and of course we later see the dragons again in Gorod Krovi. After acquiring the cogs needed to power the elevator, the crew venture down into the bunker into the basement, only to find Ultimus Takeo mutated into a Division 9 experiment himself. After defeating Ultimus Takeo and the undead horde keeping him prisoner in the basement, Takeo finds out that his past self was imprisoned by the Emperor himself, which shakes Primus Takeo to his very core. You see, all throughout World at War and Black Ops 1, Ultimus Takeo's character was built upon serving his country of obviously Japan, as well as the Emperor, both who have now seemingly in the story of Zetsubou No Shima betrayed him and imprisoned him and tortured him and experimented on him, forcing Primus Takeo to question everything he's ever believed about his homeland and the Emperor. It's here where our story takes an unexpected turn, however. It's usually here throughout the videos where I say that the crew, finish the main Easter egg and then go on to the next map, obviously in this case being Gorod Krovi. But in an unexpected twist, at the end of the Easter egg after the cutscene, Richtofen, after getting Takeo's soul within the summoning key, then teleports the crew to Alcatraz in Richtofen's lab, later seen in Blood of the Dead inside of Black Ops 4 later down the line. It's here where Richtofen gifts the crew more blood vials from the mobsters in Mob of the Dead, to hopefully survive revelations in the house as a backup plan just in case everything with Dr. Monty doesn't turn out to be true. Okay, so Zetsubou features loads of new gameplay elements, none being as iconic as the plant and water systems. Similar to Origin's dig sites, Zetsubou features droppable seeds which can be planted and watered using coloured water found around the map. These plants, based on which water is given to them, can spawn things like free perks, weapons, drops, equipment and much more. However, the more unique elements and versions of these plants include a clone pod which you can actually imprint onto yourself and use as a backup save just in case you go down. So if you go down, your clone gets out the pod and you still have all of your weapons, perks, equipment and everything else, as well as a jump scare plant which you have to play hide and seek with around the map, as well as many more plants. The plant system is even used for turning on power, with the player needing to go to both lab A and B and power them up using the bunker door. Zetsubou is also the first ever Call of Duty Zombies map to feature underwater swimming, which was a big deal at the time as we just had never had this or seen this gameplay feature in any Zombies map prior. Whilst diving underwater, we can swim, find ciphers, pack-a-punch parts, and even participating in a first ever power switch on involving an underwater lockdown event. Effectively, you have to dive into the water near power, survive a lockdown, gain a piece with a pack-a-punch machine, and then turn on the switch. Which again, for like a first playthrough, like a blind playthrough of Zetsubou No Shima, this is a really cool feature. The map's wonder weapon also includes the Kusuragi no Tsurugi, I'm very sorry if I butchered that, which is also known on the map and many to zombie players as the KT-4, also known as when translated as the grass-cutting sword. The KT-4 is actually a reskin of Black Ops 3 specialist weapon the Hive, which you can use in multiplayer, sharing assets and sounds with it. The KT-4 uses charged shots to shoot liquid on the floor, very similar to Die Rise's Liquefier, wrapping zombies in plants and sort of green bubbles, killing them instantly. Acquiring parts around the map for the KT-4 as well, it can also be upgraded into the Masamune, turning the KT-4 from green to blue, whilst also letting it deal more damage and house more ammo. The KT-4 also suits the map perfectly, also being used to get rid of spider webs and allowing us to enter the den of a massive spider boss. By the way, this boss fight is really cool. You sort of go into a cave, you obviously shoot the webs to sort of get in there, and then you have to shoot the massive spider in its glowing spot whilst also dodging its attacks with its legs, and also spiders that spawn in as well. And this is such a cool boss fight, and not only that, but you also need a spider fang from the boss to upgrade the KT-4. And speaking of spiders, Zetsubou replaces the regular Hellhound and Dog rounds with spider rounds. These spiders are really cool, and my condolences to you, by the way, if you have arachnophobia. Spiders can crawl and attack you whilst also being able to shoot webs, as well as blocking doors and entrances, as well as webbing up perk machines and the gobblegum machines around the map, later inspiring the vermin seen in Black Ops 6. Spiders are such a cool sort of special enemy type, and it's a shame that they've never come back since other than Revelations, and I really hope one day the spiders do come back, as they're, for a lot of people they're terrified of spiders, and I think with the sort of animal testing and the lore around the island itself and the map, I think spiders were an excellent choice for Zetsubou No Shima. We also get a brand new specialist weapon, being the Skull of Non-Sapui. This thing, in my opinion, is the best specialist weapon in all of Black Ops 3 Zombies. We get to power 4 skulls around the map, giving us a keeper head that can kill zombies, as well as mesmerising them, stunning and distracting them, keeping them away from the player. Seriously, this thing is really OP, especially for high rounds and the Easter egg, and can even be used to hidden reveal secrets, areas and parts around the map, which I think is such a cool feature. Zetsubou also features two new forms of transport, being the water chutes, which can shoot players around through a pipe from the bunker, which can also be used to acquire the rainbow water. This was really cool as it featured in the trailer, and obviously we saw underwater swimming for the first time in a zombies map, and of course we also got a transport system to go with this, where basically you're shot underwater through a pipe, and it's just a really cool transport system. As well as, of course, the return of the zip line last seen in Call of the Dead and Shinonuma, even being used for the main quest Easter egg. And of course we get a gas mask which can be built to stop the player from choking on orange spores around the map, blue spores which also give you a small speed boost, as well as a newly designed grass shield which can become electrified for Easter egg steps once you've completed all your challenges. And speaking of which, challenges return from Origins, giving rewards for meeting 3 specific challenges, again really similar to Origins, unlocking the lightning needed for the main quest, as well as a brand new special enemy called the Thrasher. The Thrasher is a really annoying special enemy which can spawn various times from zombies infected via orange gas from the spores, and can be killed by shooting glowing weak points as well as its head. One really cool feature though from the Thrasher that I think many people have forgotten about is that the Thrasher can also eat and swallow downed teammates and run away, stopping you from reviving them, which was a really unique feature at the time, as well as 2 new traps being a plain propeller trap as well as a fan trap inside of the bunker. So next up, let's talk cameos and appearances. Now, you would think that Zetsubou hasn't appeared, in any other map, but that's actually incorrect. Zetsubou has appeared in Revelations, and we can actually see a small recreation of the sort of test tube hallway in the sort of basement of the bunker. We can actually see that in Revelations when travelling from Varrock to Mob of the Dead, and we can also see lots of other elements of the map around Revelations. Not only this, but in the Zombie Chronicles version of Shino Numa, the map also shares a Pack-a-Punch camo and uses motifs from the Zetsubou No Shima round start music. Okay, so next up, let's talk Easter eggs. The main quest, titled Seeds of Doubt, focuses on the objective of acquiring machine cog parts to enter an elevator to free Ultimus Takeo from his imprisonment. Some of the steps include using an electrified shield to obtain a cog, using the Anywhere But Here Gobblegum to enter the Dragon Room, which was the first time a singular Gobblegum was actually required for the Easter egg, and of course battling through RNG to obtain a bullet for a plant pot to shoot down a cargo plane using the artillery gun. This Easter egg, in my opinion, is probably on the weaker end of Black Ops 3, and although it is, built in reality, like we're not just getting random parts and doing random steps, each of the steps are to obtain a cog to power the elevator, which I quite like. However, this map does feature way too much RNG with the plants and the bullets and the lightning, and honestly, that artillery bullet step with the lightning as well are 2 of the most frustrating steps of any Easter egg. Like, in some games I've had the artillery bullet first time, and then other times it's taken me hours to get it in game, and it's just not fun. And of course, after we defeat Takeo in the boss fight room and, get the main quest cutscene finished and over and done with, all players receive a max ammo as well as all of the perks on the map in terms of a perkaholic. Zetsubou No Shima also features 2 brand new Easter egg songs. Dead Flowers by Maluka and Kevin Sherwood, which is the official Easter egg song of the map, which can also be activated by holding U's on 3 sock monkeys around the map, as well as a remix of Samantha's Lullaby, which can be activated by placing water into these plant pods as seen on screen in the crew quarters area of the map. By the way, these pods also line up to represent the musical notes from Samantha's Lullaby, which is a really cool nod in my opinion. And like other Black Ops 3 Zombies maps, Zetsubou No Shima features various ciphers, audio logs and scrap papers which can be found around the map, referencing Dr. Maxis, Division 9, Group 935, their work on the dragons, Takeo's imprisonment and his relationship with the Emperor, and obviously the build up to Gorod Krovi and Revelations. Okay everyone, welcome back to Trivia Time, the section in the series where I give you some really cool and fun facts you may not have known about Zetsubou No Shima. So first off, did you know? In Zetsubou No Shima you can play as a spider, a side quest which is available as a secondary equipment. It allows all players to completely protect themselves and control a spider in third person to lure and shoot webs at zombies for around 60 seconds. This is such a cool little fun equipment Easter egg, and I really hope something like this comes back in the future, as it's just really cool to play as something that isn't yourself, and I just love this one. I have to say that in general. Did you know, Zetsubou was the first Call of Duty Zombies map by Treyarch to feature supply drop weapons inside of the mystery box that were added after launch. Guns such as the MX Garand HG40, which is a variant of the MP40, the dual-wield Marshalls, and many more. These were all later added in all of the Black Ops 3 Zombies maps, including Zombie Chronicles. Did you know, a letter written in Japanese can be found in the boss room, which is from the Emperor of Japan himself, telling Division 9 to capture and kill Ultimus Takeo, which of course, gives away the main spoiler of the map, but ties into the story heavily. Did you know, tying in with the story once again, above Zetsubou we can see the planes from Origins, above Origins where you've got the robots and all the planes fighting in World War I, where you can see many of those planes from Origins coming into the sky through portals, as well as Icarus, which is the Mob of the Dead plane, continuing the trend of Icarus appearing on every single Black Ops 3 Zombies map. And finally, did you know, outside of the map there is a hidden water swamp monster on the island. Although it's really hard to see in-game, if you go into theatre mode you can get a better shot of it inside of the swamp in the woods. This in my opinion is such a cool Easter egg, and it's something that Treyarch don't do nearly enough of, and I think going back to at the start of the video where I said obviously they were inspired by maps like Shi No Numa and Verrucht, I really like it when they put Easter eggs outside of the map in the environment. So in conclusion, Zetsubou No Shima in my opinion is probably the worst map in Black Ops 3, obviously excluding Zombie Chronicles. Although I love the ambience and the atmosphere and the Easter egg song, the setup can be really expensive and tedious on multiple player playthroughs. Also, the Easter egg is way too reliant on RNG, whilst also forcing you to run the anywhere but here gobblegum. Honestly, getting to this dragon room could have just been done any other way, like you could have been teleported, or maybe use a sort of water shoot pipe. For some reason they forced you to use this gobblegum, and that decision, to this day is still really mind-boggling to me. And the boss fight, although it's quite cool, because you're not really fighting Takeo, you're more sort of fighting the zombies and thrashers around the room, and the spiders, whilst then obviously shooting his weak points with the KT4. It's not really a traditional boss fight, and I don't know, I kind of would have preferred a bigger and better boss fight in my opinion. And obviously pales in comparison to other maps we've seen with amazing boss fights such as Gorod Krovi. Now personally I don't mind the plant system, but it can be really frustrating when some of the plants are also tied to RNG, and it could take a while and can take several rounds to actually get the specific plant effect you really want, such as maybe the jump scare Easter egg or the cloning pod or a free perk. I kinda wish there was a way where you could get specific combinations. Now I know some of the plants, such as the ones that can hold crawlers and distract zombies, those do have specific combinations, but I do wish all of the plants had a specific combination, such as like the rainbow water or maybe shooting the ground with the KT4 and things like that, as it just gets rid of the RNG, and it's just really frustrating in some games, especially when I'm going in to record gameplay for this very video. But like other Black Ops 3 Zombies map, we also get an incredible Easter egg song by Maluka and Kevin Sherwood, a fun new wonder weapon. Personally, I like the KT4 and Masamune, I think it's really good for high rounds. Obviously it does, pales in comparison to other wonder weapons we've seen in Zombies, but I still really like it nevertheless. And of course we get loads of side quests and Easter eggs, and it's just, it allows for different playthroughs, as you could have one game where you get the cloning pod, and then one game where you do another side quest, and it's just really fun overall. But at the same time, the over reliance on RNG, and also there's not many open spaces to train in on this map. But yeah, I think when you compare Zetsubou No Shima to things like Gorod Krovi and Revelations, Shadows of Evil and Der Eisendrache, I really think Zetsubou is probably the worst map inside of Black Ops 3 before Zombie Chronicles came out. So everyone, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching today, and for more episodes in this series there is a playlist which is on screen as well as linked in the description. So if you want episodes on maps like Der Eisendrache or Shi No Numa, click on screen right now to watch them. Thank you so much for watching the video today, and for more episodes as well as Call of Duty Zombies content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! Thank you.